So to better understand our different numerical measures, we're going to work off with a data set that will serve as our running example, meaning this will be the example that we're going to use to explain the different numerical measures. So given in the screen are power of time of a sample of 25 smartphones. So this will be the data set that we'll be using for explaining the different numerical measures. Now, like what we've said before, we're not going to do manual computation for this course. Instead, we're going to use Microsoft Excel to do the computation for us. And all we'll do is interpret the data that we have. So, first, pause the video and encode the following data on Microsoft Excel. So, this is how we are supposed to encode our data in Microsoft Excel. I know that most of you probably just did type it as how you saw it in the screen, but there is a proper way of encoding our data in spreadsheets like this. So as you have noticed in the example in the presentation, we actually have 5 columns for our data set, but here we only typed it in 1 column. Why is that? Because when we're going to encode data, our data, the general rule is this. We encode 1 row per respondent or per participant or per item. So in this case, since there are 25 smartphones, there should be 1 row per smartphone. And then the column, when we encode, is our variable. And in this case, our variable, which is in column A, is actually the shut-off time or the power of time. So that's why we only place the data in 1 column, because we're only talking about 1 variable, which is shut-off time. In the event that there will be 2 variables, say shut-off time and maybe internet speed, then that's probably what we can put in column B. So for row 1, that is this one here. Let me encircle, even though it's not seen. In row 1, that means row 1, column 1 would be the shut-off time or the power of time of the cell phone, and in row 1, column B would be the internet speed that the cell phone would get. So that's how we encode the data. Row for each respondent or item, column is for our variable. Next is now how we're going to analyze our data. Now, before we go into that first, as you can see, our data has no heading. Microsoft Excel tends to read whether if we have a heading or not. So, let's put a heading, and I guess we know how to do it. I'll just insert a row here. Insert. So I will put a heading, and I will just put shut off time. So there. So you can put a space, you can put not a space. Usually I don't put a space in the name of my variable. For other statistical software, do not do not consider a space. That's their program. So after we put our heading, it's time now to check how to compute for our data. To let Excel compute the data for us, we need to look at the data ribbon and see if you have the data analysis part or button on your data ribbon. If the data analysis is not on your ribbon, then you have to do the following steps. We go to File, then you click Options, then we go to Add-ins. Now that we're in the add-ins, we need to look at Analysis Toolpack. So after we select Analysis Toolpack, we click to go, and we shall check Analysis Toolpack and Analysis Toolpack VBA. After we click the two, We click OK, and it should be there, like that one. So that's how we will get the function for Microsoft Excel to compute our data for us. That data analysis button will be very powerful in doing statistics for us. And as we go along the course, we will be using more functions of that data analysis toolpack. Now, we shall now compute for the different numerical descriptions of our data. So, we click Data Analysis, and we select Descriptive Statistics. Before we continue, as you can see, there are a lot of other analysis tools that we can use, although not all, but there are a lot that we can do in Excel. So let's click on Descriptive Statistics and click OK. So now this is the window that will show, and this is how we're going to let Excel compute the data for us. First, let's put the input range. We can click this button and select by clicking and selecting the entire column that we have. Now, we have a label on top, so we should click Labels in first row. This will also put labels in the table that Excel will make for us. Now, we have different output options. If we just let it like this, then Excel will put it on a different worksheet. If we want the table output to be on the same sheet, let us click on Output Range, and that's what we'll do. Click on Output Range, then we click this button, then select on an empty cell. I will select here. Now, to know or to select what data the table will give us, we shall check Summary Statistics, because that's what we would need. Double check. I think we're okay, and then we click OK. Let's extend a little bit to see the labels, and there you go. We have now a table of the different descriptive statistics for the data of shut-off time of 25 smartphones. Like what I've mentioned, the measure of central tendency, the measure of spread dispersion variability, and the measure of relative positions are not the only measures that can describe our data. As you can see in the table, we have a lot of other numbers that can describe our data, but we're only going to select the 3 basic measures, as those are the measures most often used in statistics. Now that we have the numbers, what do they actually mean? What interpretation do these numbers give us? Let's look at that in the next video.